Hey y'all, I wanted to do another video. I was doing some research and I saw that there was a tag for people who were just starting their booktube channel, and I've been wanting to do an introduction video to my channel as well, so I think just like comboing those. Yeah, the booktube newbie tag was started by Brenda C back in 2014. Seems like the video is like no longer up, but I found like some questions. I think there was about 10, and yeah, I'd just like to get into them and share why I started this channel and what you might like expect to find. So first question is, why did I start this channel? I started this channel to I think kind of first and foremost be a diary for what I'm reading, more so than just like a reading website like Goodreads, or I use Storygraph, and yeah, to have it kind of be more like active, dynamic, like creating videos and just like be like getting into the space where I'm like, what do I actually like think about this book, and like externalizing it for other people to listen to. And yeah, and I think another main reason I started this channel is to connect with other people who are reading, like feel that books are a huge part of their life, have been for a while, and yeah, and just like I'm really excited to connect with people whose interests are, you know, like the same and different from mine. Yeah, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to booktube? I think first thing that comes to mind is probably my cats making cute little guest appearances here and there. Yeah, my two cats' names are Millie and Marlowe, and they're siblings. I adopted them together. I adopted them from a foster home, and I've had them for about 2 years. So I love my cats, and I love sharing how much I love my cats with everybody. And then as for books, I think that I personally am really excited to share more about all of the artist books and zines that I've read over the years and continue to discover and collect. So I think at some point I hope to do a little bit of a collection video of the zines, artist books that I have. I don't know, I feel like I've never really been that up to date with what books are coming out, like really popular books, on like the bestsellers and stuff like that. So I don't know. I would like to challenge myself to maybe get a little bit more in tune with what's coming out. But yeah, I think of something that I'm excited to bring to booktube is yeah, kind of just like my love for like niche publishing, especially around art and DIY publishing, zines, and yeah, in all sorts of different themes. The next question is, what are you most excited for about this channel? I'm really excited for this channel just to be kind of like a log, a documentation of sort of a living kind of documentation and place for talking about books, maybe hopefully like talking about some of the writing that I've done, some of the writing projects that I hope to develop more. Yeah, and seriously just like connecting with other people about reading. Like I love talking about the books I've read and sharing those stories and my opinions and experiences with those books, and yeah, just hoping to experience that from other people as well. The next question, I think this is the fourth question, why do I love reading? I love reading because, I mean, I think it's always been a space that's been available to me, accessible, whether that be physically or just mentally. Like, I feel like I was just drawn to books. I remember just being so excited to learn how to read. I think like one of the first books that I remember ever having read was like a Barbie book. And there was this other book called Toad on the Road, where a toad and his pals just get in the car and they just go somewhere. And I think that was just like a super I don't know, I love that book so much. And I think just that act of like kind of making the connection that like, oh, reading like can be this way to like access stories and to share like our inner experiences with one another. That just became super fascinating to me, and especially when I was a kid, and still to this day. I love fantasy, I love sci-fi, I love stories that are challenging our conceptions of what the world can be, and putting our inner experiences out into the world. I think that's like, and it's just fun. Reading is super fun for me. It's just nice to like there's some part of my brain that really loves the like deciphering aspect of reading. Okay, yeah, and then I got ahead of myself. What book or series got you into reading? It's definitely gonna be Toad on the Road. When I was like 4 or 5 years old, that toad, he took me places. I think the biggest series that I remember reading as a kid was the series of books that started with Aragon by Christopher Paolini. I was obsessed with those as a kid. I probably read Aragon probably 10 times. It was just like while I was waiting for the other books to come out, or like I didn't have anything I wanted to read in particular at that time. I would just go to Aragon, and I was like, okay, good, something that I love, has dragons, and some magic, some cool like spells. The characters, I don't know. I haven't read it in a while, so I don't know if it holds up. But I do remember being really disappointed when the movie came out, because it was like, oh, they just like they messed up the book so bad. Like, this isn't even a good book rendition. Like, this is just like, no, they're just leaving out way too much. So I think that series really got me into reading. And yeah, I think the rest was just reading forever after that. The next question is, what questions would I ask my favorite booktubers? I think it would probably just be like technical questions, or like maybe even some of these same questions. To me, I would be curious about how they relate to the experience of putting themselves online, how their relationship to reading changed or evolved when they started putting videos on booktube. I think I would just be curious to talk about those experiences of like putting reading experiences online. The next question, what challenges do I think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Putting books down that like I don't actually like want to read. I'm already kind of sensing this pressure to like, and it's just internally, of course, just an internal pressure of wanting to like read the books that I say I'm gonna read, and if I really like am not liking the book, just putting it down and being okay with that. And I think maybe there's a challenge of like making myself visible and like my opinions and stuff like that, and like I'm not a perfect person, I'm not like a pinnacle of like truth or whatever. So yeah, maybe if at any point someone gets upset, that might be a little bit of a challenge, but I'll work through that and just take that as it comes. And I'm not really anticipating like that happening anytime soon. So the next question, when did I start reading? I think I answered that a little bit in the beginning. I've been talking about a lot of books that I read when I was like 4 or 6. I started reading like really young. I think I was just, a big part of it is like I was not excited about being in school all day. Books really provided a relief for my boredom of school. And like I would just do the thing the teacher wanted me to do and just like crack the book right back open. So I kind of always have had my nose in a book, kind of since like time immemorial. Where do I read? Next question. I'll read pretty much anywhere. I think the only places I really can't read if it's like too noisy or there's too much activity going on. I like to read in my room. Reading in the bath is really nice. I have a hammock in my backyard that I like to read in. When I was taking public transit, I would try to read on the bus, but I think just the bus is just so, it's a whole ecosystem when you go on there. You can't, I have a hard time focusing. And I like to read if I'm like on an airplane, because I really don't prefer flying. So if I can read something that I'm really engrossed in, that's super helpful for me, like getting the flight to kind of pass by. What kind of books do I like to read? Next question. I like to read a wide variety of things. I think that I'm really drawn to sci-fi, fantasy, yeah, kind of like a lot of my books kind of, I think, take place under the umbrella of speculative fiction. I would like to try out in the future maybe some historical speculative fiction. I feel a little challenged by that genre. I'm not sure why. It just doesn't like, I just don't get super hooked into like historical things. I think I do read a good amount of nonfiction. Pretty interested in like gender studies, like books about like critiques of capitalism. Some nonfiction self-help books I think are sometimes some books I'll spend time reading. And yeah, what does my book collection look like? That's the last question. My book collection is kind of, I'd say it's not small, but it's not, I don't know, it's not too big. Most of my book acquiring right now has been through the library, just because of like funds and access to, books can be a little expensive, and that's not like, that can be a little bit of a barrier. So I'm really super grateful for the library that I have access to. But I think over the years I've acquired probably somewhere around like 50 books. It could be more. I'll have to like actually count. And I think my book collection would be mostly consisted of fiction, and probably like a quarter of it would be just nonfiction books I've picked up over the years. Those are all the questions that I have for that booktube newbie tag. Hope that was like nice to listen to. I had fun sharing some of why I decided to make a booktube channel, and like this video, share it with some friends, subscribe to just keep a tab on what's happening over here. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.